walk. My car was taken. I was walking the streets in Atlanta, night, dark, 8 p.m. in places like West End. West End, as a female, at 8, 9 o'clock at night. I was like, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. Like, I was told to do something. I don't care how heavy it is. I don't care what darkness comes to me. I don't care. I don't care. Because I've teetered. By then I teetered too much. I'd like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna go to teaching. No, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna go back to teaching. And I was like, I'm tired of teetering. Like, because when I went back, it's still knocking on my door. Hey, I told you to do something. Hey, are you doing the thing I told? It's not leaving me alone. So why teeter again? Why am I gonna? For what? No, okay. The heaviness comes. Okay, that gets taken. Okay, that gets taken. Okay. Okay, now you gotta go sleep on your cousin's couch. Okay, what are you doing now? And sometimes it's like trying to balance between like, okay, is that God training or is that the enemy? Like, that's another thing I was like, because I was in such a dark space. I'm like, I don't even know what this is, but all I know is that God told me to do it.
Welcome to Testify Pitch, a space where founders, builders, and visionaries share not just what they're building, but the testimony behind the vision. Because here's the truth. Behind every calling, every assignment, every company, there's a story of faith, obedience, and perseverance. And at Testify Pitch, we believe those stories deserve to be heard. I'm your host, Lanisha, the creator of Testify Pitch, and today I am so excited to sit down with someone who is building from a place of purpose. Today we're joined by Anike, a visionary founder whose journey started while she was still in the corporate world back in 2019. Sounds familiar? At that time, God placed a vision on her heart that would eventually lead her into entrepreneurship. Her story is one of obedience, transition, trials, and the kind of faith that keeps moving even when the path isn't clear. And what's powerful is that through it all, God sustained her and even brought unexpected blessings along the way. I can't wait for y'all to watch this testimony with a little bit of pitch on the side. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do
Ready.
it. Okay.
Let's do this.
So Anike, welcome to Testify and Pitch. Today is so special for so many reasons, and I'm so glad to have you here today. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Look, I've been waiting for this. Like, I am excited. I love that this is a thing. I feel like it needs to be a thing. It should have been a thing a long time ago. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. It's great.
Nice. This might be a perfect time for me to like tell on myself. I think the beauty of this day and this moment, especially with you being our first guest on the platform, is that many might not know Anike was one of the earliest people that I shared this vision with, I think early last year. And she was super excited when I first told her. And then I would go to these different tech events, and guess who I would see and run into? Anike. And she would always ask me about the thing, or we'll talk about the thing, and she's like, you need to get on it. You need to talk to so and so. And me just being me, hesitant, fearful at the time, I would always say, yeah, I'm gonna get around to it. And so it's funny, like God, I feel like had us in similar rooms at
Mm,
similar times, and he always used you to tell me like, yo, why you still sitting on something that I gave you the playbook for? And you
mm.
would say it with such conviction, like, no, you need to talk to so and so. Like, this needs to be a thing.
Yeah, it
So
does.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for pushing me. And it only makes sense that you're the first one out here.
I want to say thank you for your obedience because there's things that God puts on people's heart, and unless they actually take the action, it's not going to exist in the world. So thank you for your obedience.
I received that. So before we get into the testimony and pitch, tell us a little bit about who Anike is, for those who don't know.
Who is Anike? Oof. Well, It's funny because I feel like, there's all these characters in the Bible, right? And their names change. I feel like one of them.
Mm.
So my family originally they knew me as Temmie. So anyone that knew me before 2023 knows me as Temmie. But I am a person who loves kids. I've always loved kids. Um, I think it started when I was a baby. So I died when I was a baby and I came back. And I think there's something in that just built my love for kids. Um, so yeah, I've always loved kids, worked with children and families with disabilities for 15 years, started my company to support those families. Um, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a church goer, I'm a family member, I'm all the things, all the things.
Wow. You said a part there, and I gotta walk us back to it. You probably know exactly which part it is, because the folks watching probably wanna know the same thing. You said you died and you came back.
Mhm.
Break that down.
Yeah, so when I was a baby, I had something called intersusception, which essentially means that my intestines decided that they wanted to twist on each other. I was a few months old. And then I left, and my mom was like, "No, she's not gone. Like my baby can't be taken." Like she went, she started praying. Um, and then they called the coroners and everything. Used the what do they call that thing? The electric shock thing. I still wasn't coming back, but then I eventually came back. So now we out here.
Wow.
Yeah.
People always say, I'm a walking, talking, living testimony, and, we have a great example of that today. That's amazing. That is so amazing. So, you were one of the folks they call crazy, and I'm in that category too, and it's for people who start and build something.
Mm.
They say you gotta have a little bit of crazy in you to be an
Hmm.
entrepreneur,
Hmm.
um, and I think I'm starting to believe them a little bit.
Uh,
So, when did you actually kick off your startup journey?
mm. That's a good question. And I always say I have two answers. I'm learning to have one, but I say I have two answers. So you want like the real answer or you want like the everyone else everyday
I
answer?
think the people watching want the real answer.
All right, so here's the real answer. And I'll put like a disclaimer. I was not raised in the church. I knew God, but I didn't know God. Um, so essentially I was a teacher and I loved my job. I always heard a voice, internal voice. And I went to my friend one time, I was like, "Do you hear voices?" And they were like, "What?" No, I was like, "Never mind." So I just put it to the side. Anyway, so I was at my job, I was teaching, I love my kids, I love my school. Um, and that voice said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm going to work." And the voice said, "You should leave." I was like, "No." I'm I'm done with my job. I'm going to work. Um, and then I just kept feeling this internal prompting that I'm meant to do more to help these families. And teaching was good, but it wasn't it. Um, and eventually I decided to be obedient, and I left my full time job and started out on this journey to entrepreneurship. And that was 2019. Um, And I wasn't like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna jump in." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna part-time do this, and then the other part-time, I'm gonna, like, work and teach, and then I'm gonna, like, dabble." And then I learned recently the Bible calls it a double-minded being double-minded, like,
Mm.
being in 2 things at the same time. Um, and I didn't know that's what I was doing because, again, like I say, I didn't grow up in the church. I found church recently, and now Bible's giving me description for my life. But that is essentially what happened. Some people are like, "Oh yeah." My other answer is, "Oh yeah, like I really just love teaching, and I really wanted to be an entrepreneur, and then I just built a company because he's crazy. He's crazy to say that.
I like
he's
the real answer.
crazy. He's
I like
crazy
the
not to
real
be honest."
answer.
But even though like I wouldn't have chosen it personally because I did like comfort and I like the security and I liked what came with being in a full-time job. Um, I wouldn't trade this for the world. I feel fulfilled. I feel aligned. I feel like I'm doing exactly what I've been put here to do. Um, so yeah, yeah.
So, when did you realize this wasn't just an idea, but something God was calling you to build?
Um, I would say when I, I would say from the beginning is one. It was, I ignored it for the longest time. And like when I was a kid, I always thought, oh, I'd love to be an inventor. Like, and then I just kind of gave up on that dream. I was like, oh, someone created a light bulb, someone created peanut butter. That's so cool. Like, someone made something that was never in the world before. And I kind of just like left that dream alone. Um, until that internal vision, that internal calling, that like pull to do something. Um, and even then I ignored it and I went back to teaching.
Uh,
And while I was in teaching, I was still feeling that internal like pull. Moved to Atlanta, was gonna move. I had a whole vision when I moved to Atlanta. I was gonna move to Atlanta. I was gonna become a teacher in Buckhead, and I was gonna have a school. God said, "No, you're not." So now I'm not. But like I started substitute teaching again. I moved to Atlanta. I started teaching again, and inside, like it just wouldn't. That like pull, that voice just wouldn't like stop. And I was hoping, well, one day I'm going to start a business. One day I'm going to. And they were like, okay, why do you keep talking about it? I'm like, I don't know, because they keep talking to me.
it won't
That
stop talking to me.
it was I'm talking. So yeah, that's basically how I came in. And it's funny because like not everyone understands that journey. Like not everyone will, for example, like my family and some of my friends will be like, "Oh, what do you mean just go and get a job? Like just go." Is more my family was actually shouting at me this weekend. You're making a mistake. You're doing what mom used to do, and you need to go and get a job. That's what my family told me. And I was like, okay, I hear you, but I also know what God told me to do. So it's a no to you because I know what I've been instructed to do. So I'm gonna just, I don't always like it all the time. Like, I don't always like the uncertainty. I don't always like the unknown. I don't always, I mean, I'm learning to love it now because it's like, oh, wow, God, you came through like that. But like, I used to hate it. I used to hate the darkness, the what ifs, the what's gonna happen. Like, I used to hate it. I used to get so much anxiety about it. Now I'm like, this world of possibility, like anything can happen. I feel like I've gone
Mhm.
off on a tangent, but yeah, that's it.
No, you're good. Yeah. Um, as you touched on, it's kind of tough, and as many say, it could be a lonely journey when you take that leap of faith into entrepreneurship, especially
Mhm.
when you are that innovative person, as you mentioned, and no one understands what you're building. No one
Mhm.
understands why Noah's out there in a dry season building his ark and he's looking foolish. And you got folks like you mentioned that say, hey, you need to go get a job. Hey, you need to
Mhm.
abandon that dream. But in your ear, you know what you keep hearing. And
Mhm.
that's a tough thing that school doesn't prepare you for. There's
Mm.
a lot of things I'm learning as a startup founder is like school
Mhm.
didn't prepare me for a lot of this stuff.
No.
Um, so I am curious to hear about the moments when your faith was tested throughout your
Ooh.
early journey in this startup space. Well,
My
maybe
God, which one do
you
you
haven't been
want?
tested before,
Oh no,
my bad, my bad.
I've got plenty of testing moments. I'm just trying to think of which one. eh, Okay, so when I kind of decided that I was gonna go all in, what, 2022 or 3? Um, at that time, like I had like some like maybe like one or two people who I was like working with that was like getting some funds from. Um, then that stopped, that dried up. And I was renting a space to live with my one of my closest friends' sister. my closest friend lives in London. Her sister lives here. And everything was just falling apart. Like rent was due, things were coming up, like, and it was just all the things. I felt like all the pressure was on me at the same time. And I'm like, God, you told me to do this. And now everything is falling apart. And it's funny because I started going to church then because it was just so hard. Um, and then I was in church singing a song like, I want to be free from everything that keeps me from loving you. And I saw my car that I had at that moment. And that car was, and I was like, why am I seeing my car? Like, I want to be free. Like, God was essentially saying, like, your attachment, you've built all these things, you've built this apartment, you've built your place, you've built this car, and now they become your attachments and they're stopping you from doing what I'm telling you to do. They're becoming a barrier for you. It's becoming a resistance. So when I was singing that song and I saw the car, I was like, how can my car stop me from loving you? But because I had built all these resources that I was then trying to figure out how to assign and I can't do what you're telling me to do because I need the money so I can take care of all the things that I've built. And then everything just started getting stripped away from me. Everything was just taken away from me. And I'm like, what? And then it's like, are you still gonna do what? You still gonna continue doing what God told you to do? Are you still gonna, like, I had to move in with my cousin in my cousin's house, like sleeping on his couch. You still gonna do what God told you to do? Like, are you still gonna do it? Or are you gonna turn around and go another way? Like, and that's probably one of the lowest times I've had in my life. Like the lowest. Like, and it was just having to sustain through that, like disappointment from other people. My closest friend, what are you doing to my sister? Like all the things. Walk. My car was taken. I was walking the streets in Atlanta, night, dark, 8 p.m. in places like West End. West End, as a female, at 8, 9 o'clock at night, I was like, I'm not giving that. I'm not giving that. Like, I was told to do something. I don't care how heavy it is. I don't care what darkness comes to me. I don't care. I don't care. Because I've teetered. By then I teetered too much. I'd like, okay, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna go to teaching. No, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna go back to teaching. And I was like, I'm tired of teetering. Like, because when I went back, it's still knocking on my door. Hey, I told you to do something. Hey, are you doing the thing I told? It's not leaving me alone. So why teeter again? Why am I gonna for what? No, okay. The heaviness comes. Okay, that gets taken. Okay, that gets taken. Okay. Okay, now you gotta go sleep on your cousin's couch. Okay. What are you doing now? And sometimes it's like trying to balance between like, okay, is that God training or is that the enemy? Like that's another thing I was like, because I was in such a dark space. I'm like, I don't even know what this is, but all I know is that God told me to do it. Like I would have like people call me and shout at me, like, "What are you doing? You're making this." So like when I see it now, like with this weekend with my siblings, like, "You're making a mistake. Mom made this mistake before she died. Like, what?" And I'm getting all this. I'm like, I done had it already. I had it then. I got the shouts, I got the darkness, I got the heaviness. Okay, after that, it goes away, and I'm still, then what? Am I going to turn around because I'm getting darkness, I'm getting heaviness, I'm getting shouted at? No, it's part of the process. That's how I see it now. I've already seen it. So when I've been at the lowest of the lows, like, and you see that the lowest doesn't stay low, everything breathes, everything goes in and out, our heartbeat, our breath, the trees, everything goes in and out. We're so afraid of the death part. Die. Did I die? I'm still alive. Die. Okay. I'm still. If I've been giving an assignment, I'm tired of turning back. I've turned back too many times. I'm really clear on the assignment that God's given me. I feel like it's evolving the more I stay on this path, but I'm not. It is what it is, and we're out here now. We out here now. What?
You know, the saying it says, "You don't look like what you've been through." I feel like that today, um, because some of the things you just shared, I'm looking at it from this perspective, like, man. But every time I see you, you're serving. Like,
Yeah.
every time I talk to you, you're coming from serving or you're going to
Mhm.
serving. So, like, in that season where it's funny, you say you're at church and you're praying for the freedom, and
Mhm.
we don't realize when we pray for things that it's not gonna come well, it usually doesn't, directly the way we pray for it,
Mm-mm.
right? It's not like, "Lord, give me freedom." Oh, you are free. No, it looks like, "Lord, give me freedom." Boom, okay. I'm gonna take your car away.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put you on this couch. I'm gonna
Mhm.
have you walking in the dark in the West End of Atlanta.
Mhm.
Oh, and by the way, I still want you to serve. I
Mhm.
still want you to carry out this mission that I have you on.
Mhm.
Why do you keep moving, serving, building as an innovator while going through those times?
Yeah, I think one thing I can say it builds in you is a certain level of resolve. Like it builds a the thing is what because I'm so clear, like that it is a mission from God. Like if I was like, oh maybe, then I probably would have turned around. But because I'm so clear that that is what it is, like who's a better employer than God? Why would I who's a better JP Morgan, Google, who is a better employer than God? Like, there is not one. So if God's employed me to do something, why would I not do it? Like, he gave me life, and I don't take that lightly. Like, when I say that I was a baby that died, like, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't he could have left me. Like, "Bye, you're dead, okay?" He could have. Like, so I owe him my life. If he told me to do something, I'm gonna do it. The darkness doesn't mean anything because the light is always outshines the darkness anyway. It always overpowers the darkness. Like, as long as I keep that within me, like, if I allow the darkness to get within me, then okay, that's a different story. But as long as I keep the light within me, like nothing, anything out here can change. It doesn't matter. When I was on those buses at what time in the morning, when I was outside, like walking, I will walk up to a homeless person all this anytime now because we've been at the same space. Like, I've been homeless as a child, living in a hostel with my 4 siblings. I've been lost everything as an adult, like and what? What does it mean? What does it really mean? Nothing, because it comes back.
Uh,
When me and my siblings were living in a one-bedroom hostel with my mom and we had to share a bed, okay, are we there anymore? No. But it's like if I abandon mission at those moments, that's what really matters. Like, what was I put here to do? Am I gonna continue doing that despite what all the noise that happens in this earth? Like, am I gonna continue past? Or am I gonna abandon and say, oh well, I really wanted this car that doesn't actually mean anything. I really wanted this house. I really wanted okay, when it burns down, what happens? Like what happens? Are you still doing what you were put here to do, or are you grasping at stuff that means nothing? So like for me, like I don't care how heavy it looks, what it looks like. If God came to me and he gave me a mission, I'm gonna fulfill the mission. And it might pivot and it might adapt and it might change, but the mission is very clear. To me it is. So everything else is noise.
wow. I thought I knew you before today. For me. Oh, wow. That's the beauty of it too. I just want the people watching to know, like, I don't come into these conversations having a full script of everything about the individual. So I am listening and hearing this as a first time. Man, man, such a powerful, testimony. Um, so all the things were essentially stripped away. What happens next?
It comes back in ways that you can't even imagine. For example, I was blessed with a car by change. So everything was gone. Out Christmas time comes, pastor comes on stage. The crazy thing is, this day was my mom's birthday, and my mom had passed away the year before. And my family had come to spend Christmas with us for the first time in a long time. My brother hadn't been back to the US since he was a child. Like, and there was just so much. And the crazy thing is, like, before this event happened, like, I was praying to God. I said, Lord, do something that makes my family come to you. Because we didn't grow up in the church. We had some other faith basically that was very different. I'll say it that way. Um, but yeah, it was all this chaos I was going through that put me back into the church, which I later realized that's how God sometimes calls people through that suffering. Um, so he basically called me home and said, "Hey, come back to church." But essentially, I said, like, Lord, do something that will make my siblings see you and know you. And then that Sunday, I came to church, and Pastor calls me up on stage, and he's like, fully paid off car. Like, I could have never nothing like that had ever happened to me, ever. I could have never pictured it, could have never imagined it. Like, and Pastor's very like, if God didn't tell him to do something, he doesn't just kind of throw things out there. Like, he's very methodical. So it's like, that was a God moment. Like, it's only God that could have orchestrated that could have put that on his heart, that could have led, like, that was a God moment. Like, so I was just like, yes, sometimes we're pruned, sometimes we're trained, sometimes things fall away, but God will bring it back 10 times, like in ways that you can't even picture, you don't even know. Like, and that's such a weight lifted off of me now because I'm able to drive, but I don't have to worry about the payments. So it's like I'm able to drive and build a company at the same time, so I don't have to worry about, oh, I need to get this money so I can, like, so he will orchestrate things in ways that's just out of what your mind can see. But if your mind is saying like, this has to, this needs to, this must, like, and this is wrong and this is bad, and like, oh my gosh, like, you'll cut off what God is trying to do, or you'll turn around and go another way when God's trying to tell you to go this way. So for me, I'm like, every day, I'm like, Lord, lead my steps. What are we doing today? My plans can change. I had a plan for the other day. I had a straight plan for the whole day. My plans changed. God was like, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this instead. I was like, okay, what are we doing today? Here? There? Okay. Like, I want that straight alignment, straight obedience. I don't want no other noise. Let me know where I'm going. Let me know what I should do. Take the burden off of me. Take the weight off of me. Take that anxiety off, because my steps are ordered. So why do I need to stress?
Let me recap this thing for those who might have blinked and missed the amazingness, the miracles in this story. So God gave you a vision. You're working for an employer. You stepped away, start building this business. Um, didn't really have a strong relationship with God at the time, but you find yourself in church and you ask for like deliverance and freedom. And you start pulling things away that you found yourself attached to, one of those things being your vehicle. You live with someone, you didn't have a car, you walked in dangerous conditions while still holding on to this vision, still probably trying to figure out how you're gonna connect certain dots. You join a church you start serving faithfully on the children's ministry and probably some other ministries as well. And your mom passes away. Fast forward a year later, your family comes, which is something that hadn't been done, and we're preparing for the holidays. And it's crazy because then I'm gonna insert myself into this story. I wasn't going to this Change Church of Atlanta at the time. I was watching it on TV in my house right here. And I just happened to be watching that service before Christmas.
Wow.
And I heard it was the pastor's wife. She got on stage and said, we're giving away a car today. And they started describing the person. And so she started speaking about how the person serves religiously. This person always shows up at every function, whether they have to walk or ride the bus or catch rides. They are faithful servant. And I was like, man, whoever this is, they really, they really serve this car. And they said your name. I think we had only met maybe once or twice at Atlanta Tech Village events. And I saw you come across that stage, and it's just different when you see somebody that you know or you've met before gets this crazy blessing. I think you broke down like it
I
very emotional
was
stage. And so I'm here at
out.
home, like I'm there, super emotional as well. It wasn't until recently when you explained everything that led up to the event. So some people might have just, oh, you got a car that day. Man,
Yeah.
you don't have any car payments. But they didn't know struggle to get
My
there.
God. Yeah.
That's crazy. And now you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about car payments.
Mm,
But talk about provision.
my God.
That's wow. That's wow. I never
Yeah.
forget that day.
Yeah. I mean, even thinking about it sometimes just brings me to tears because it's like when you're in, like, some people see a blessing and they don't realize
Uh,
I'm start crying. They don't realize the heaviness that came before the blessing.
yeah.
Like the standing outside, like
Uh,
waiting for a bus for like 3 hours when it's cold outside, and you're in an area like a college park or like a West End, and like you can just no, I'm not judging, but I mean you can just like as a female, and you're just like getting trains. Something that could probably a 30-minute journey is taking you 3, 6 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours just to go from here to there. Because the alternative is to sit down and to stay down. That's the alternative. Or to get up and move. Like when you're at that point where you have two options, let life get on top of you or get on top of life. Nothing else matters anymore. Like nothing I feel like I've seen such darkness that like what else what else is there? Like so it's taking the fear away from me because I know who God is now. God revealed to me the other day, like he said, I've been providing for you before you even knew who I was. Before I even knew who God was, he'd been pulling me through. Before I even had that relationship with him. Like, who am I to say no?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
crazy.
hmm Man, I think obedience always leads to some sort of assignment.
Mm,
And, the mission behind this platform of Testify and Pitch is to, one, bring God into these spaces that he may not traditionally be found.
mm,
And two, to also speak about the bill, the
Mm,
assignment, so that others can support and find alignment with whatever it is you may be building. So
mm.
I would love to understand or to help those who may be watching understand with your company today. Feel free to say the name again. What problem are you solving through the work that you're doing?
With Lapapoe, we are focused on easing the journey for families who have children with disabilities. What that means is we connect families to in-home respite so that they can breathe and their child can flourish, essentially.
So how'd you come up with the name?
The name is Nigerian. It means all together in Yoruba. So that's part tribe. That's my mom's tribe. So it is different people of different communities coming together to support a child that has special needs. So that's what the name means.
Love it. Love it. So for those who may be wondering, who you're building for, who your target audience is, what would you say to that?
So it is any parent that has a child that has a disability. Right now we're B2C, potentially looking at employee engagement offerings in the future. But yeah, that's what we're doing at the moment.
Nice, nice. So what have been some key milestones so far for you in this journey?
Um, was accepted into the NIH boot camp, so completed that. Um, did well, I was originally launched it in London in 2019. Raised a crowdfund with that. Was able to meet deadline to pivot, relaunch, and start generating revenue again. So generated early sales, about 17,000 in revenue without marketing spend. So now it's kind of just moving, trying to establish marketing, trying to establish some operations pieces.
I heard money. So one, I want to pause and say congratulations. It's not a free revenue. There's some revenue there, and that's not easy. Like, making that first, getting someone to pay you for something. Um,
Hmm.
right now, my nephew is, and I don't even know if it's allowed. He's selling candy at his school. But the beautiful part about it is, and he's not supposed to have his phone at school, so I hope he don't get in trouble for this. But he texts me throughout the day and says, "Hey, I just made $5. Hey, I just made $2." And it's just
Okay.
the
I'm an
excitement of
early
like
entrepreneur.
selling something and someone believing in something that you're selling. Um, that's amazing. That's amazing. Do you
Uh,
remember your first customer when it got real and that first dollar hit that bank account? What was that moment like for you?
yeah. So funny, like I counted my first customer as one of the pastors that was at church. So she has a child. He was homeschooled. He's not like specifically got special needs, but he just had like some behavior things. And then she just kind of messaged me one day. She was like, "Hey, do you have like spare time to?" I'm like, "Actually, yes, and actually is what my company does." So of course. So I started supporting her with homeschooling her kid. And then after that, there was another parent that kind of came through some communities I'm connected to within Georgia. And then they just kind of started coming, trickling through. Like once the first one came in, they just kind of just started trickling through. Someone was like, "Oh, someone posted something on Facebook." I'm like, "Who's this someone that posted something on Facebook?" I'm like, so, and it was a preschool teacher that was like, "Hey, like I found you from." It's just lots of people that kind of found like randomly word of mouth connections, relationships. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting, especially like that first early kind of getting in and just kind of riding the wave. Um, but it's allowed me to see, okay, if funds were placed in here, this would grow. If this would put here, this would grow. If I establish operations for here, I can make a partnership here. I can, so it's giving me like an understanding of what it takes to move. Um, but yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
What do you say um, is probably the biggest misconception about entrepreneurship? Because there's somebody today on a job saying, They got one more time to say what's up, and I'm gonna leave here and start my own business because the grass is greener on the other side. What would you share to that person? What's the biggest misconception that you know now, but you didn't know back then before you got into this space?
Um, the biggest misconception, I would say the grass can be greener if it's your purpose. If it's not, the grass can be very brown. I think
Like this, bro.
yeah, very, very brown. Um, I think I've grown in faith. I've grown in comfort of uncertainty. I've grown in comfort of unknown. I think if you don't have those as an entrepreneur, like if you face uncertainty, if you face unknown and you like go to fear and you go to the worst case scenario and you go to everything's gonna die, then the, you're probably gonna have a really difficult time. But I think entrepreneurship is also glamorized a lot. I don't know why. Like no one talks about the crazy part of being an entrepreneur. Like you see these, oh yeah, this person raised. It's the same, similar type of thing. It's like when you receive a blessing, people see the blessing. They don't see the back. They don't see the hustle. They don't see the nice. They don't see the long hours. They don't see all that. All they see is, oh wow, congratulations. Oh look, this person's like flying to this place. This person's received. Okay, go and speak to them and speak to them genuinely and honestly, like, and figure out what was that story that got them to that place. Because I can guarantee you they didn't get there overnight. But I think a lot of people think, oh, this glamorous life and this is so good. I'm like, some people need to start putting some hustle stories on LinkedIn. Some people need to start putting some death stories on there too, because us also like if you don't see that and you'll when you're going through that, you'll be like, oh, this is not normal.
Yep.
When it's part of the journey, like, but if it is your journey, because don't try and force something that's not yours and be like, oh yeah, this hustle is part. No, like that's why I think for me, faith-based is very important. Discernment is very important. Like speaking to the Holy Spirit for me personally is very important because if it's not, then I don't want to because I'm wasting my time. Like, and I'm gonna start knocking down on a door that's not for me. Like, I only want to do what's for me. I only want to do what I'm here to do. I don't want to do anything else. Like, if it's in my path, if okay, because like my pastor was saying, or our pastor goes to the same church, he was saying, if it's last week he was talking about prayer. Sometimes you pray for things, but what you're praying for might not be what God is in God's perfect will for you. So if it's not in God's perfect will for me, I don't want it. But I know that God's perfect will for me is good. But I just want what is mine in that perfect will, not someone else's. So God's perfect will for someone might be to be in a full-time job. Do that to your best of your ability. It might be for you to be in entrepreneurship. Do that to your best ability. It might be for you to be a podcast host. Do that to your best of your ability. Like, do what he put you here to do because there's a purpose that he put you here to do it for. And if you're not sure what your purpose is, then speak to God, get quiet, build a relationship, and he'll reveal it to you. But don't chase down a wall that's not yours and don't see glamour and think it's amazing because it's not.
Fire. Or we call it bars. So many bars there. So many bars there. Even the last part you just said was so important. Like, get quiet. And I find that when I am quiet, when I am still, that's when I'm able to hear God clearly.
Mm,
And just the visions start downloading, the
mhm,
creative approaches, the innovation starts coming.
mhm,
Um, and I think I shared with you before, like I truly believe that the more we insert God into these spaces,
mm,
specifically this tech space,
mhm,
um, the more robust and thriving and innovative
mhm,
businesses
mhm,
we're going to see. Because when I start praying to God, one of my prayers is like, Lord, help me to see things in a way that I haven't seen before, no one else has seen before. Like
yeah.
I got a product
Mhm.
and we're preparing to launch it this way,
Mhm.
but it's missing like a secret sauce,
Mm.
uh, a key differentiator,
Mhm.
and God started downloading things, right?
Mhm.
And those type of things only come through that relationship, and for me,
Yeah.
it comes through the quiet
Mhm.
times, the devotion and
Mhm.
stillness.
Yeah.
And, what's the statistics? 90 something percent of startups fail.
Mhm.
I like to think that the more we start inserting God within this space,
Mhm.
that 90
The
is
more
gonna go to
success.
80, that 80 is
Yeah.
gonna go to
Yeah.
85, 80, 70.
Mhm.
You get the picture. So,
Mhm.
man, I love what you just said.
No,
Yeah.
I love what you said because it's true. Like, if it's God ordained and God led, like, how can it? It can pivot, it can change, it can move lanes, it can. But how can it fail if it's God designed, God
Mhm.
ordained, God planned it, God asked it, God put it on your heart, right?
Alright. I'm curious, speaking about your faith, like, how has your faith influenced the way you show up in this tech space? Because 'Cause you're in a lot of different tech settings and circles and conferences, and we know, an average tech week may have 0 programming specific to, um, the faith community.
Hmm.
So, how has your faith influenced the way you lead in this space and show up?
Yeah, I think it's crazy that there's so little, especially because of the crazy journey I've been on, like, and how important faith has been, like, pulling me through it, and just me witnessing God work out things that I could have never worked out within my own mind and my own strength. Like, for me, I feel like it's central. So whenever I have an opportunity to speak up about it, I'm gonna speak up about it. And I might get judgment, but I will always, if there's ever opportunity to say, hey, God needs to be included here. Like, hey, have you guys thought about? I think the one time I saw was Atlanta Tech Week at where you guys had the Grace at Work. Um, that was the first time across London, across Atlanta, that I've ever seen anything like that in
Uh,
Tech Week. Like,
you know the
even
funny part about
this,
that?
yeah.
Sorry. Like, the funny part about it, because going back to your earlier comment, people see that, they see the event, but they don't see what happened, what it took to get there.
Mm,
I had just joined the Grace at Work Bible study community, right?
mm,
And, I get the emails about, it's Atlanta Tech Week. If you wanna host an event, sign up using this email. And so God had already told me, like, "Hey, share this email with our ministry leader." And
wow.
I was like, "Dude, I just joined this group like a week ago. I am too new to be saying, 'Hey, y'all wanna have some programming during Atlanta Tech Week?' Something that rarely happens."
Wow.
And so it kept sitting on me, kinda like how you had been doing. And I
Mm,
built up the courage and I typed the email and I sent it to our leader and I said, and here's the crazy part, I wrote it, expecting rejection. So I said, "Hey,
mm,
here's a great event that we should probably look into maybe for next year," because I realized, it's kinda last minute, and so it's okay if we can't do it right now. And, he took it, ran with it, and the rest was history. The rest was history.
wow.
But that was a fearful moment where I had to step out of God's way and be
Yeah.
obedient. And now you're saying, "Hey, this was an event that I went to that I haven't seen anything
Wow.
like
How
it."
beautiful is
But
that?
yeah, obedience is so necessary,
It's
so
so
necessary.
necessary because that's how things that are meant to be in this world come to exist. Like, the fact that that was the first time, and I've been in some tech spaces in different, like, God keeps putting me in tech spaces, I'm like, "Okay." But that was the first time I've ever seen it, and it's so important, like, ever seen it. So whenever I'm at a space, I always bring it up. Like, this past week, I met this guy. We were in I was at a VC founder type networking group thing, and we're talking about, what do founders need? What do founders need? And there was this guy who runs a space, who was also a past pastor, and he was like, he started talking about, like, spirituality, and I was like, that is what's missing. What you just said there, because no one tells. No one tells you, right, that you're gonna go to hell. Sorry, on the journey.
You good?
But it's true. No one tells you on this journey you're gonna experience some crazy, and you're gonna need faith. You're gonna need God to pull you out. No one tells you that. Like it's gonna be hard. Like you might experience weight that you can't carry, but God can.
Mm.
No one tells you that. Life will show you. So when you're going through life and you're like, oh my, what is, and if you don't have that resolve to keep going and to stay on to what your mission is, like if you don't have that faith with God, then a lot of people, and I'm thinking there's probably a lot of things that are supposed to exist in this world right now that do not exist because no one told them that it was going to be hard. No one taught them that faith is important. So if you're not having these conversations, you're not bringing God into these spaces, you've got all these things that are necessary and needed in the world that aren't being brought to life because the giver of life isn't in it.
Bars, bars, and so powerful, so powerful. 100%, 100%. No one advertises that component about the dark side of the journey, and it's kind of the mission behind this platform. It's like, let's just keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was on a call yesterday um, for this program that I'm part of, and it had a couple founders at different stages in their journey. They all made several $1,000,000, and they were going over their 18-month business plans that they put together. And they all said the same thing. And this is in hindsight. When we put this together in year one, all of these assumptions were way off. Our targets and estimates were way off. Our forecasts were way off. But it's the fact that we built that discipline and
Mm-hmm.
putting it together and then learning how to get a little bit more accurate with our
Mm-hmm.
assumptions to help better our forecast. But it was like the best part about it, and the part I remember the most is the part where they said, "You're gonna put these plans together,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? They're not gonna be perfect." That almost
No.
took like the weight off my shoulders, like instantly knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to what you said, like, all right, you're starting this journey as a founder. Let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you all the ups and downs you might face. That way
Mm-hmm.
when you face them, you're not
Mm-hmm.
tempted to turn back
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
and go back
Because
to Egypt.
right, that part. That part. Because you think Egypt is better because it's what you knew. But just because it's what you
Mhm.
knew doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. So I would love to help us understand, what type of introductions or connections would be most helpful for you for where you are in your journey right now.
My middle kind of focus right now is marketing and operations. So someone who is aware of the marketing processes, the kind of like email marketing and kind of like the re follow up and all those types of things. That's one area I'm focusing on. The other one is operations, so kind of just establishing some clear processes and operations for movement and to like onboard more people and kind of that whole connections piece, partnerships and things such as that. Um, so really looking at those two, marketing and operations.
Okay. So you mentioned partnerships, and partnerships today is currency. That's what I hear people saying a lot,
Hmm.
especially given today's climate. When you think about potential partners, throw something out. Like, who would you like to partner with by name?
Hmm. I would love to partner with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. That's like that's an organization, but I would love to partner with them. I had someone from Marcus Autism Center contact me end of last year, so I would love to like kind of explore what that partnership might look like. Um, but I would love like some sort of like a formal agreement with CHOA would be that's like putting it on my vision board, putting it out there.
And we put an atmosphere to that. So somebody that's listening, I'm pretty sure knows someone that may know someone that knows someone from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. How
Mhm.
can they get in contact with you?
Anike, Anike at lapapoe.com or Lapapoe on all channels.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna claim that. We're gonna claim that.
Yes.
And then once you get that partnership, we're gonna bring you back on here to continue the second half of your
Yes.
testimony.
I'm here for
Oh
it. I love
man,
it.
this has been great.
Love
So
it.
before we close, I want to ask just a few reflection questions. What keeps you grounded while building?
The gym is my best friend. I would say that. First, my
What?
church is number one. Like that is how I learn, I understand. I'm like, what is this? Okay, that makes sense. Like, so church is my first go-to. The gym is my second church. Like that, like working out. There's nothing better than just like having a good workout after a long day, or like a good yoga session, and then go and sit in the sauna and sit in the steam room and just like tomorrow's another day, like is my reset. Um, and I have a very strict God gets my first hour, God gets my last hour. I'm really
Mm.
strict devotional time, morning and night. But yeah, those things just help me to just ground. Yeah.
What would you say to a fellow founder out there who might be going through that season where everything just seems to be falling apart? They're trying to fundraise and they're getting 1,000 no's, still haven't got a yes yet. Maybe they're losing team members on their team that started with them, but they're no longer there. They're down to their last whatever resource, and it's just a dark time right now.
hmm I would say look at nature. Because if you look at a tree, it loses all its leaves, but it doesn't cry because it knows leaves are coming back. It doesn't know where the leaves are going to grow back from. It doesn't know how soon it's going to grow back. It doesn't know the specific form it's going to grow back, but it knows one way or another the leaves are going to come back. That path, especially like us people that have been given, humans that have been given a path by God, sometimes we have to find out what that path is and then get in that river and then float. Because sometimes we might be in a river that's not our river and you're trying to swim uphill. When if you look at the streams, like they just naturally flow. Get in the boat. That's yours. Get in your river and just float. Like the ocean, the tides come in, they go out. They come in, they go out. But we know that it's gonna go along the same flow. So I think if you look at nature, there's a lot to learn from how nature is. And if we have the discernment, I would say nature and discernment, like having clarity on terms of, God, what did you tell me to do? Because I'm not going to fight what you're telling me to do. I'm not going to try and force something that's not for me to do. I'm not going to try and grab and attach an outcome dependent and must and expectation and anxiety my way into something that's not for me to do. When it's for you to do, it's not gonna be easy, but it's not gonna be force. Like things are just gonna I think the fact that I lived in London, built community, established startup, moved to Atlanta, built community, established startup, I would say that was not me. That was not my hand. That was God's hand. There's no way I could have built the same sort of community in a completely different continent on my own. So when God's hand is in it, God's hand is in it. It might not be your timing. It might not be how you want it to come. It might not be based on your expectations. But if it's your lane, if it's what you're supposed to do, one way or another, things are going to just fall into place and you're going to find your yes.
It's like a perfectly cooked dish to where it would almost be disrespectful if I tried to add any seasoning to what you just said. That is a nice way for us to conclude today. I want to say thank you for sharing your testimony, being vulnerable with not just me, but for the many people who are going to watch and listen to this. And I like to think that what has been declared today, even down to the Children's Health Care of Atlanta, will come to you because of your obedience and faithfulness. And like I said in the beginning, it's only right that you were the first person on this platform. Such a special day. I appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing about all the amazing things God is going to do in your life and actually through your business as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much again for your obedience and your yes. This has been amazing. I'm grateful to be a guest. Like, I'm excited to see all the other episodes and to see where this goes. I feel like it's so necessary. It's amazing to see the kind of impact that it could make.
Nice. While we share a little quick blooper, my microphone. This is a great illustration of the startup journey. You learn things as you go. Normally when I record, the mic is right here. It's supposed to be like 6 inches or so from my mouth. The whole time it's been over here. I never brought it over here. And so I am going to trust and believe that God looked out for me. And when I go back and watch this, you'll be able to hear my voice on here. I just had to laugh. It fits the storyline here.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Nothing's
I
ever
mean,
perfect.
I can hear you perfectly. So.
Nice.